What the hell have you done? That was the first thing Evelyn Hartwell ever said to me that wasn't coded in fake charm or some neighborly act. Yeah, that happened. Folks say every family's got a story, but you ever meet someone who tried to rewrite yours right out from under your feet? My name's Malcolm Reed, and I've never cared much for attention, titles, or what folks think of me. I just care about the land my family built, 2,000 acres up in the mountains, a stone dam, and a lake my great-granddad carved out with his bare hands. That kind of history, you don't let it go, not for anything. It was always quiet here. Real peace, the kind you feel in your bones, not the kind money buys. But all that end of the day, Evelyn rolled in. She wasn't just rich, she acted like she'd invented the word. Bought the whole ridge next to me, paid in cash like she was picking up a new handbag, and wasted no time dropping 100 luxury cabins into tidy little rows, then named the place Hartwell Hills Estates. And get this, declared herself HOA president before the paint was even dry on her own mailbox. From that moment, I could feel her eyes fixed right on my lake. She'd park that ridiculous pearl white SUV at the edge of her property and just stare across the water, lips curled up like she already owned the view. Wasn't a week before she strutted down my gravel drive, sunglasses on, diamonds flashing, that kind of smile that says, I get what I want. She offered to buy me out, multi-millions, all up front, just so she could make the valley spectacular. I didn't even have to think, not for sale. My family built this, and I'm keeping it. I remember how her laugh dropped out mid-giggle, replaced by a glare cold enough to curdle cream. Some people, you tell them no, and that's the end. Others, it's just the beginning. It took her all of 3 days to show me how far she'd go. She hired a greasy surveyor, Leon Draper, who somehow found that her land included a chunk of my shoreline. Yeah, the most valuable stretch. The map looked official, stamps, seals, even signatures, stuff that'd fool any clerk with half a coffee in them. I woke up to chainsaws screaming one morning, followed the noise down the hill, and there she was, hard hat on over perfectly styled hair, directing workers who were mowing down my trees like they were dandelions. I told her straight, this is my land. She didn't even turn all the way. Not anymore, she said, waving that phony map. According to this, it's mine now. You can't stop me. You ever run into someone who thinks their bank account is a get-out-of-jail-free card? Who just expects you to roll over? What would you do if a rich HOA queen tried to steal the land your family guarded for generations? Let me know where you're watching from. Seriously, I want to see it. Drop your city or country in the comments. And if you think greedy folks should get what's coming to them, you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Because trust me, this isn't your usual justice story. Anyway, back to the war. I didn't waste a breath arguing. I pulled out my phone right in front of her and called the sheriff, while her workers were still tearing up my soil. Deputy Harris Crow rolled up, looked at her, looked at me, immediately knew something was off. She's trespassing. This is my land, I told him, pointing at the mess. Evelyn just smiled, all sugar and ice, and handed him her fake survey. On paper, it looked rock solid. Updated boundary, she cooed. This is Hartwell Hills property now. Crow glanced from the map to me, said, Sir, her document looks valid. Unless you can prove otherwise, I can't make her stop. And just like that, my stomach fell out because every bit of proof I had was back in my attic, not in my pocket. I left, furious but not broken. That night, I tore my attic apart, digging through a century of family records, deeds, maps, every yellowed piece of paper my great-granddad ever tucked away. Took half the night, but I found it, a hand-drawn boundary map on parchment, the original county seal burned right into the corner. It matched the land exactly, my land, not hers. Next morning, I hauled copies to the sheriff's office. They studied it, nodded, and told me flat out, this is a civil matter. Only a judge can overturn a recorded survey. Evelyn ignored my formal complaint to her HOA board. I filed an injunction, court date 5 months away. And Evelyn, she didn't let up for a second. Bulldozers ran day and night, cabins popping up like weeds. For months later, all 100 were finished. She strutted around like she'd already won. No clue that her empire was built on sand. Or in this case, mud. By then, I knew the courts weren't going to save me. She had months to claim established use, sell cabins, move in families, twist the law till no judge would ever dare order those buildings torn down. She thought she was invincible. She was dead wrong. So I started digging again, not in the attic this time, but through the dam's old blueprints. My great-granddad left everything. Notes, diagrams, records. That's when I found the trump card. The land Evelyn claimed sat smack in the dam's legal flood easement, meaning the dam could legally raise the lake several feet higher, flooding every last cabin she'd built right up to their fancy front porches if needed for maintenance or emergencies. It was checkmate, and she didn't even see the board. I spent days documenting every cabin, photos, GPS elevations, drone footage. Then I sent a certified letter, 48-hour legal notice. The dam will be raised to its maximum safety level for inspection. Mailed it straight to Evelyn and her HOA. She refused to sign, told the mail carrier, "Return to sender, he's bluffing." She thought she was above the rules, but that refusal created a record that she'd ignored a legal warning. 48 hours ticked by. Evelyn spent those 2 days parading around like a queen, prepping cabins for buyers. Me? I just waited. The moment the clock ran out, I grabbed my toolbox, hiked down to the dam, unlocked the access door, and turned the spill gate valves. You ever hear metal groan underwater? The whole structure trembled. The lake started to rise, quiet, slow, relentless. By noon, water lapped over her new turf. By 1 p.m., it licked the steps of the first row of cabins. By 2 p.m., mud swallowed the whole lower field. Panic broke out. Workers yelling, grabbing at floating wood, Evelyn's empire literally coming apart at the seams. She showed up in a hurry, waded through mud in designer boots, and let out a scream that echoed across the valley. "What is going on here? Why is my land flooding?" I didn't move. I just held up the certified letter and pointed behind her. "I warned you. 48 hours, you ignored it." She spun around and watched as water swept under the cabins, swallowing foundations one by one. The look on her face for the first time, she realized she was losing everything. She turned back to me, voice cracking. "Stop it. Shut your dam down now." I told her flat, "This is a documented flood easement zone. Your cabins are inside emergency water territory. I warned you." That's when she called the sheriff, screaming for Deputy Crow to arrest me for flooding her property. Crow waded through the mess, looked at the stack of evidence I handed him, the old maps, drone photos, elevation data, the certified warning. He read it, shook his head, and told her, "Ma'am, he notified you. He's within his riparian rights. This isn't a criminal matter." You should have seen her, jaw dropped, eyes wide, like the ground had opened up under her. Behind her, the water surged up the cabin walls, lights flickering out, foundation slabs vanishing under brown waves, whole pallets of furniture bobbing past like sad little rafts. Her $20 million project dissolving while she watched. Next day, insurance inspectors showed up, took one look at the damage and the fake map, and denied all claims. Gross negligence, illegal construction, and falsified documents. That's what they wrote. Her investors came knocking, furious, threatening lawsuits. She borrowed millions, built on land she didn't own, ignored a legal warning, forged a county survey. Contractors slapped liens on her office. The county threatened criminal charges. Her bank froze every cent. And me? I kept the water up until every cabin was ruined, then let it drain, cleaned up the land, and started walking my property again. Untouched, unbroken, still mine. Evelyn's empire crumbled to dust. Justice delivered by water. No courtroom, just the truth and the patience to let nature handle the rest. So let me ask you, does having money mean you can take whatever you want? Or is there still such a thing as right and wrong, no matter the price tag? If you stuck with me this far, smash that like button and subscribe. But most of all, drop your story or your thoughts down in the comments. What would you have done in my place? Where do you draw the line between justice and revenge? Let's hear it. This valley's got plenty of room for your story, too.